we do need. But that's easier fixed than some of the other holes that we've got. Personally, I think that is easy.
But you also don't want to reach. The big mistake you can do is reach for a guy that's not worth that pick. So it all depends on who's available on the board.
Yeah, someone always takes someone and it throws the whole board open.
Yeah.
We'll see. It always happens. But I agree that he is an early first round player. I think maybe up to about pick 13, I think he'll go by then. I think that's his sort of area.
Mm.
Who knows until draft day.
All right, who you got?
I've got actually one of my favourite ones in this year's draft. Some people are not torn between him. Some people really like him. Some people think he's overrated. But I personally think he's very good. It's Leighton Vander Esch.
Mm-hmm.
He's 6'4", 256 pounds. He's an inside linebacker. His strengths are he's got good athleticism, big built and long. He's got fluid hip movement. Change of direction is excellent. He can change direction very quickly. Lateral burst alongside a G. He's a sideline to sideline tackler, bit similar to Roquan Smith in that sense. Like he's a sideline to sideline tackler. He's very adept in coverage. This is a huge plus if the Raiders took him. The fact that he is very good in coverage, because that would obviously alleviate a lot of other problems in the team. He can be used to rush or blitz. And actually, I think he could actually be moved to defensive end on some plays. He could be moved along the line a little bit. His weaknesses: only started 1 year in college, so his experience isn't up to some of the others. His play strength could be improved. It's good, but I feel like he could improve it a little bit and become a bit more nastier, have a bit more edge about him.
Yep, I agree.
He needs work on taking on blocks. Sometimes I feel that he gets blocked off far too easily. His punch and separate with his hands needs improvement. That hand technique that we talk about, that needs improvement. Can over pursue on plays and be caught out of position. That's a worry for me. That was a flag that come up at me. But I think that can be fixed with coaching and coordinating in the next level. I think he'll become more disciplined in the next level. And I'm going to give him a mid-second round.
Really?
Pick. Yeah. Only purely on the basis of what we've said, how the draft board falls. I can see a couple of linebackers falling into the second round. Me personally, I think he's a first-round caliber player, but I can see him falling into the second round.
No, but to you, what grade would you give him? To you, is he a first-round guy?
I would say end of the first round.
Yeah, because that's what I had him. Don't put him where you think he's gonna go. Just rank him as the type of caliber player he is.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'm just saying how I thought the board would go. I thought he would slip into that round, but me personally, I would say he is an end of the first round guy. I think that teams will watch his tape and fall in love with him.
Yeah, that's where I had him, because I looked at his tape too. I thought he was second best in the draft.
I completely agree with that. I think you've got three. You've got Roquan Smith, Tremaine Edmonds, and Leighton Vander Esch. They are the three standout linebackers in this class.
But you know what? I looked at Tremaine Edmonds, and let's transition to Tremaine Edmonds. Let me give you the numbers. Athletically, he's a freak. 6'5", 250, and the way he moves is ridiculous. And his ceiling is higher than anybody else in the class. He ran a 4.54 at 253. It's ridiculous. He had good production in college. 1.5 playmaking index, which we're looking for more than 1. But he's just a little too raw to be talking about all this hype. I don't know, media sometimes hypes people up. He's athletically a freak. He can run, he can jump. His instinct, however, needs some work. And let me write down what I wrote. Let me read what I wrote. Strengths. Incredibly athletic for his size, strong enough to shed and tackle and does so easily. Good tackler, has sideline to sideline speed, holds the edge well when asked to play on the line. Weakness, raw in his readability, needs to recognize plays happening better in zone defense, needs better tackle and shed technique, loses discipline on zone assignments, sometimes allows easy plays to happen, overruns plays, or takes the wrong hole. And what I mean by that, I noticed a lot of time he's very aggressive. When they hand the ball off, he just runs towards the ball carrier, but he doesn't really understand which gap, A gap or B gap or C, he's supposed to fill. So he takes the wrong gap, and the runner just blows by his gap, leaving him for big plays. I also noticed him picking up the wrong person in zone coverage, leaving his own man who he's supposed to cover wide open for big gains. That's what I mean by readability. But
yeah,
in summary, an athlete more than a football player right now, but the right coach can turn him into a Pro Bowler. Athletically, can do anything but instincts, and football IQ takes him out of the running for number 10 for the Raiders. A middle linebacker / strong linebacker prospect who can either become great or be a bust. Needs developing, but will go high due to athletic traits. I know he's getting early first round talk, but for the Raiders, if I'm the Raiders, I don't want to risk a boom or bust guy that early. If I'm the Raiders, I take him second round if he falls, which he will not. But I don't take him that high for a guy who doesn't have the instincts yet. I'm not taking a guy just on potential alone. I have an early second round grade after Leighton Vander Esch.
I would go along with that. I think that Leighton Vander Esch is more of a polished player at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
The polished players have to go above the tag of raw potential. They have to go above them purely on the basis that they are ready to go day one and start. Whereas Tremaine Edmunds might need a bit of time. I mean, don't get me wrong. If he comes in and hits the ground running, he could be an absolute animal. Mm-hmm. But at the same token, he could come in and really struggle. That's the risk you take with a player like that.
All right, who you got next on your list, Gavin?
Jerome Baker.
Cool, let's go with him.
He's a little bit on the smaller side. He's 6'1", 229 pounds. His school was Ohio State. His strengths, his footwork, and his movement is good. He's got fast and fluid movement. He's got loose hips. Excellent range as a tackler. Early change of direction. He's efficient in making passes to the ball. Great athleticism to match up with other athletes in space. Can outrun his mistakes when he has slow diagnosis on plays. His weaknesses are he needs to add more weight. He looks and plays small. Play strength isn't up to par. Can't withstand power very well. Below average instincts. Can be knocked around the field too much. And he's inconsistent with his motor, so as in he's inconsistent on plays. So 1 minute he'll be flying into something, the next minute he won't be. I think he could be a good rotational piece, but I think he's got a lot of work to do. But I think some teams will like him because you can match him up with athletes, and I think he will go early to mid round 4.
Round 4, okay.
Yeah.
He had a really good. He did much better last year than he did this year. I don't know what happened to him this year, but he was projected to go first 2 rounds end of last 2016 season, but I guess he just fell off, which is a shame, really. All right,
Yeah.
I have.
That's one of those, isn't it?
Yeah. My next guy is Josie Jewell. So he had, look at his athletic scores. He ran a 4.840, which is not good. And his vert was only 33 inches, which is not good either. But he had good 3-cone and good 20-yard shuttle. 6'1", 234 from Iowa. I'm looking at his game. He's a good run stuffer who can come downhill and plug the A and B gap. Stacks and sheds to get to the ball carrier, reads and reacts very well, and plays smart and instinctive. Weaknesses: tight-hipped and a liability in coverage. Does not have the fluidity or athleticism to hang with tight ends or running backs. Strictly a run stuffer. Overall summary: old school inside linebacker type who can come downhill, attack the line of scrimmage, shed, and get to the running back. Only a 2-down player, or nowadays it's a 1-down because they're passing so much. It's more like a 1-down player, as the athleticism is not there on tape to be productive on passing downs. A dying breed of linebacker. His hips are just too stiff. It's not a guy you want to take until the 6th if you're the Raiders. If you're a team that needs a run stuffer, just come in and play, inside linebacker, just come downhill and fill the gaps. Yeah, that's fine. But other than that, if I'm the Raiders, I don't know if I'm going to take him higher than a 6th round. So I got him a 6th round grade, similar to Micah Kaiser, I guess. So
yeah, I'd go along with that. I think that summary is spot on.
All right, who's your guy?
This guy is probably one of the lesser talked about, but probably will be one of the better players in the next level, Lorenzo Carter.
I like Lorenzo Carter.
Yeah, I love Lorenzo Carter. And so does someone I write with, Phil Jones, on the Raider Ramble. We were speaking about this guy, and we think he'd be a perfect fit for the Raiders. But anyway, his height is 6'6", so he's big and tall. His weight is 250. His school that he attended was Georgia. His strengths: long arms and body, can quickly cover ground, consistent separation from blockers, has the athleticism to catch running backs on certain plays, sets the edge very well, an active tackler, gets off the edge extremely well. I think I've put that twice. Production was very good. Weaknesses: needs to add more weight and muscle to his tall frame. So the weight he's got, convert it into muscle. Has thin legs which affect his base, so that's an area he could improve. Can't handle downhill rushing attacks. Moderate solo line numbers, so that's something we're going to look to improve upon with a guy like that. His solo numbers as a tackler. Stalled easily in rushing as a defensive end. Needs to develop rush moves and hand movement. Not enough conversion of speed to power. I see him as a possible fit for the Raiders as a blitzing linebacker or an outside linebacker from day one. But he could develop down the line into a very accomplished defensive end. And I would give him a mid to late round 2 grade.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where he fits in.
Yeah. I think if the Raiders pick him, it'd probably be in the 3rd round, because I think 10th pick in the 2nd round might be a little too early for him. But I think he could come in and play the Sam linebacker really well.
Yeah, I think so. I think that in terms of where I would put him mid to late round 2. But I think if you're the Raiders, that's a bit too